This is Mrs. Robertson, and today we're going to do a little review before you take the quiz. I am making this recording in second period. Say hi, kids. Hi. Thank you. Now, let's go on now and practice doing some problems that you're going to see on the quiz. The first problem is an adding problem, and when you have decimals, you have to line them up. So here, the problem looks like this on your quiz. You're going to line it up, 7 and 3500ths. I put the decimal point down right away, and you're going to line them up vertically, 36.2. The 2 is in the tens place, and so is the 3. Now you can put zeros in the empty spots, add them together, 5, 5, 13, carry a 1, and you get 43 and 5500ths. And you will put your answer on the answer blank. Okay, this is what your quiz looks like. Put your answers on the answer blank. Then we have some subtraction problems. When you subtract, again, line up your decimal points. If you have a problem like all right, here's the problem. I'm going to line it up, 38 and 6/10 minus, before you even put the numbers in, line up your decimal points. 2 is in the ones place. The 1 is under the 8. 9 is in the tens place, and 5 is in the hundredths place. Now, you have to fill empty spots with zeros. So that's an empty spot. You put a 0 there. Now, you have to borrow. 0 won't subtract 5. You are subtracting. Borrow from the 6, it turns into a 5. That turns into a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 can't subtract 9. Borrow from the 8, it turns into a 7, so that's a 15. Minus 9 is 6. 7 minus 2 is 5. And the answer is 35 and 6500ths. Now, let's look at another problem that you are going to see. Something that looks like this. How about, we're going to do another subtraction problem with a whole number. 70 minus 26.3. All right. There is no decimal point in 70. Where do you put the decimal point, class? Yes. You're going to put the decimal point behind it. Okay, so now 70, decimal point, decimal point, decimal point. The 2 is in the tens place, and so is the 7. The 6 is in the ones place, and so is the 0. You're going to put the 3 in the tenths. Now you have to put a 0 above the 3. You borrow because we are subtracting. Borrow from the 7, it turns into a 6, that turns into a 10. Borrow from the 10, it turns into a 9, so that can turn into a 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. 9 minus 6 is 3. 6 minus 2 is 4. And you get the answer, 43 and 7/10. Are there any questions on how to add or subtract decimals? Thumbs up? I don't see everyone's thumbs up. Okay. Now, the next thing you have to do is multiply. Here is an example of a multiplication problem. 37 times 0.8. All right. I'm going to rewrite it vertically. 37 times, you don't have to write down the 0 in front of the 8 when you're multiplying, kids. It doesn't really affect anything there. So 8 times 7 is 56. I do have my multiplication chart over there by Queen. It's over on that side above the brains pictures. And if you don't know your facts, you can look over there. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 5 is 29. Now the answer is not 296 because you asked, how many numbers are behind the decimal point in the problem? 1. So you have to have one number in the product. The answer, 29.6. Now, the next multiplication problem is a little more challenging. It looks something like this. Okay. Now, I put the number with the most digits at the top. It doesn't matter which ones you do, but I like to put the number with the most on top because I don't think you have to work as hard. So I'm going to write 16 and 45 hundredths times 15.3. Kids, you do not line your decimal points up when you multiply. Only when you add and subtract. So you don't line them up when you multiply. Now, you're going to multiply as if they're not there. You're going to start with the 3 and you're going to multiply this number times 3. But you start at the end and here it's the hundredths place. 3 times 5 is 15. Put down a 5, carry a 1. 3 times 4 is 12. Plus 1 is 13. Put down a 3, carry a 1. 3 times 6 is 24. Plus 1 is 25. Put down a 5, carry a 2. 3 times, wait, did I mess that up? Yeah. 3 times 6 is 18. Plus 1 is 19. I appreciate you catching my mistake. I realized it when I wrote it down. 3 times 1 is 3. Plus 1 is 4. Does that look better? Yeah. Good. Now, I'm going to multiply by the 5. But there's one number behind it. I call it justice. You put a justice 0. To justify multiplying by the 5, you have to give it its space because there is one number behind it. I've given it its justice, and now I'm going to multiply by 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Put down a 5, carry a 2. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 2 is 22. Put down a 2, carry a 2. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 2 is 32. Put down a 2, carry a 3. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. You're not finished. Now, you have to multiply by the 1. How many numbers are behind the 1, Landon? 2. So I have to put down 2. Place value zeros before I multiply it. You got that? Good. Thank you, Landon. Now, 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. Add the numbers together. 5, 8, 9 plus 2 is 11. Plus 5 is 16. Carry a 1. 5. 2 is 7, and 4 is 11. Carry a 1. 1 plus 8 is 9, plus 6 is 15. Carry a 1. Now, I have to put my decimal point in. How many numbers are behind the decimal point in the problem? 1, 2, 3. So in the product, you have to have 3 numbers behind the decimal point. And you end up with the answer 251 and 685 thousandths. All right? Now, on your quiz, you will do these 8 problems. Don't forget to put your name. Today's November 3rd. Put your first and your last name there. Show your work. Put your final answers on the blank. Okay? Then when you get to number 8, flip it over. There are 2 problems on the back. They're word problems. When you see the word total, it usually means you're going to add the numbers together. Here, you need to figure out how much she spends. There, On that one, it says Iona's favorite peaches are $2.50 at the farmer's market. She bought 3.5 pounds of the peaches. How much did she spend? Show your work. You get points for showing your work and your answer on these. Any questions? All right. After you're finished, listen. When you're done, Miss Weaver's kids will put hers in the red box up here. My students, you can put them on this little desk right there. Then you will log on into ClearSight. If you need to get your code, I do have them, but your ClearSight is, here is your number. It is CS-A051-9D. And that's the code that you will use when you log into ClearSight. It's up there on the board. After you finish the ClearSight formative, it has 10 questions. Then you can do reflex. When you get a green light in reflex, you can have free time. All right? Okay. So, that is it. Say goodbye.